That Chevrolet stamp across the grille. 7 reasons Ram Power Wagon can't answer this.
Number 4 on this list is something Ram's engineering team has been trying to solve since 2021. And they still haven't. It's buried in the frame architecture of this truck, not in the spec sheet. We get there. Is $92,000 worth it over the Power Wagon? My answer depends entirely on whether you tow professionally or whether you're paying for a reputation that hasn't been tested past a weekend campsite. That difference matters. Here's the structure. 7 specific things. Exterior, interior, powertrain, each one a comparison point Ram would rather you not think about, and the origin story of why this truck exists, because it didn't start in a boardroom.
Thing number 1. Everyone looks at those mud terrain tires and black flares and assumes this is about stance. That is not the point. The point is what's behind those flares. Factory composite panels integrated into the body's load path at the bed corners. The Ram Power Wagon's flares bolt onto a body that was never designed for them. These are tooled into the structure. Under sustained towing load at highway speed, that difference shows up as reduced cab corner flex. And flex is where fatigue cracks start on modified HD trucks after 80,000 miles. Speculative tech number 1. Structural flare integration. The composite flare shell bonds to a reinforced bed corner bracket welded into the frame rail junction. The engineering logic transfers lateral load directly into the frame rather than the body skin. This closes the crack initiation gap that every bolt-on flare conversion creates at the seam. Thing number 2 is inside, and it's where Ram's Limited actually loses ground to a work truck. Thing number 2, that full-width carbon fiber door panel. Corner to corner, same weave as the dash vent surrounds. Ram's 2500 Limited puts carbon fiber on accent strips. This covers the entire visual field of the door. In a $95,000 Ram Limited, you're still looking at soft-touch plastic where this truck puts structural weave. 3 sentences. Done. Thing number 3. Physical HVAC knobs retained below the infotainment screen. That is the correct call for an HD truck operator. A driver in gloves at 10 degrees needs cabin temperature without navigating a touchscreen. Ram's 1500 Limited moved this to screen only. The 2500 Power Wagon hasn't fixed it either. Speculative tech 2. Console display independence. The secondary touchscreen in the center console surface handles drivetrain and tow mode selections without touching the main infotainment. The reasoning keeps the primary screen uncluttered during active towing. It eliminates the screen swap task when navigation and trailer monitoring need to run simultaneously. Thing number 4. The blue ambient LED strip along the console. On a $92,000 work truck, this reads more luxury crossover than HD operator. Ram's Power Wagon keeps its cabin utilitarian for a reason. That restraint is correct for this segment. Things 5 through 7 are on the exterior, and that's where the competitive brief becomes impossible to ignore. This truck reportedly came out of a direct competitive response to Ram's 2023 Power Wagon redesign. The moment Ram proved an HD off-road buyer would pay $85,000 for factory recovery hardware without asking for diesel torque numbers. The exterior is where that brief becomes hardware. Thing number 5. Front to rear, based on what's visible. The blacked-out bumper integrates a functional skid plate with angular air channeling cutouts. Load bath first. The LED headlights run a horizontal bar signature that adds approximately 8 inches of visual width versus the outgoing HD. The composite flares extend roughly 3 inches each side beyond factory standard. The black multi-spoke wheels carry aggressive all-terrain rubber, correct specification for a truck that crosses job site terrain between highway runs. The factory suspension lift sits approximately 3 to 4 inches above standard 2500 HD ride height. Rear, Chevrolet's stamped tailgate lettering is structural, not a decal. Sequential LED taillights, integrated diffuser lower bumper with square exhaust exits. Thing number 6. Every exterior hardware decision here follows load path first and styling second, which is why this design holds long after the Power Wagon's bolt-on additions start showing wear. Thing number 7. The powertrain case Ram doesn't want discussed. Engine, 6.7-liter Duramax V8 turbo diesel, estimated 470 horsepower, estimated 975 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed Allison transmission, 4-wheel drive standard.
At 975 pound-feet, this pulls 20,000 pounds without hunting gears on a 6% grade. The Power Wagon's 6.4-liter Hemi doesn't enter this conversation. Speculative tech number 3. Predictive grade torque management. GPS elevation data 400 meters ahead pre-stages torque delivery before the grade arrives. The gap it closes? Ram Power Wagon's reactive downshift hesitation under 15,000-pound load on mountain grades, documented in owner forms since 2022. It eliminates the 1.2-second throttle delay that costs traction on loose surfaces mid-grade. Ram 2500 HD, superior factory recovery hardware, and a dedicated front locker, but its gas V8 doesn't compete at sustained towing loads. Ram 2500 Limited, a richer soft-touch cabin, but no structural flare integration and no Allison transmission at any price. 7 things on the table. Financial case is next. Now, here's what I actually think. Completely straightforward. That Power Wagon brief explains all 7 points. The structural flares, the console display independence, the Duramax torque management, the carbon fiber door execution. Every decision traces back to one objective: beat Ram's HD capability story with diesel numbers Ram can't match. Whether Chevy succeeded depends entirely on what the buyer at this price actually uses the truck for.
Expect this configuration between $88,000 and $96,000. The Ram 2500 Power Wagon runs close to $72,000. It delivers a dedicated front locker and factory recovery hardware this Silverado doesn't match at any price. The standard Silverado 2500 HD High Country comes in roughly $18,000 lower, giving up the structural flares, the carbon cabin, and the console display system entirely. Factory-differentiated HD trucks with genuine mechanical distinction hold value differently than comparable trucks with aftermarket builds. A dealer-lifted Silverado with bolt-on flares loses 12 to 18% more at trade-in than a factory-spec Duramax Elite at equivalent mileage. For a 4 to 5 year hold, that depreciation gap recovers a meaningful share of the premium, and the Allison transmission is the single most durable component in the segment, which buyers know. If you tow 15,000 pounds or more consistently, this is the most coherent factory HD diesel package available right now. If factory recovery hardware and a dedicated locker matter more than sustained tow capacity, the Power Wagon gives you more of that for $20,000 less. What this Silverado earns its premium through isn't displacement. It's 975 pound-feet of Duramax torque delivered through an Allison transmission built for exactly this load. That Chevrolet stamp across the grille from the opening, now you know it's not branding. It's a declaration that 7 specific capability points Ram hasn't answered are sitting right behind it. If you've towed professionally with a Ram 2500 Power Wagon or put real miles on a Cummins, I'd genuinely love your perspective on where the gas V8 actually falls short under sustained load. Next, this Chevrolet against the Ram 2500 Cummins head-to-head on diesel torque. $92K for Duramax or $88K for Cummins. Drop your call below, then subscribe.